biggest takeaway from the improvement in our business through using YouCanBookMe was minimizing the amount of no-shows. So now that we're reminding people a handful of times prior to that appointment, because there's nothing worse as an estimator, 8 o'clock in the morning, you show up and knock on the door and no one's home.
Thank you very much for joining me today. I am joined by Josh Cornell, who is the Vice President of Sales and Marketing at Kennedy Painting, which is in St. Louis in Missouri. Josh, thank you so much for joining us today. Can you just tell us a little bit about what Kennedy Painting does and who you're reaching out to?
So my name is Josh Cornell. I'm Vice President of Sales Marketing here at Kennedy Painting in St. Louis. We are a residential and commercial painting company. We service predominantly residential homeowners, but also work in light commercial office buildings, manufacturing facilities, things like that.
And so tell me a little bit about how you got into that. What's your journey been? And then what also is the journey of Kennedy Painting? How long has that been around, and it's local to St. Louis?
So Sean Kennedy started the business in 1998. So we've been in business for 27 years now. And so he's still running the day-to-day of the business and has just grown it from himself up to a company of now over 50 employees. So myself, I joined the team about 9 years ago. Started as a estimator, a sales rep, and just worked my way up through the years, just taking opportunities and growing with the company. We've grown quite a bit in the last 9 years, and so just seize those opportunities as they came about, and now I'm managing the department.
And so I know you've got a team of salespeople, but how many people are physically doing the painting?
So we have 45 full-time painters out in the field doing the work, and then we've got our management team of estimators, and our front office staff.
I've talked to a lot of customers, and the junction between your own customer service, how you want things to be done, and then spreading that to your colleagues to make sure that that's a unified experience across all those people. How do you do that as a business? How do you make sure everybody's on that same level of quality that you want?
It's systems and communication, very simple, but also very complex, right? Making sure that we have the systems in place that people know what to follow so that our customers can, get the same Kennedy Painting experience on every project. Making sure that our employees are educated on safety, the details of the project. And so we've got to have systems that help data flow, quickly and accurately. But then at the end of the day, we have to communicate those things. So we can have all the systems in place, but if people aren't talking about them regularly, they're not going to be as effective. So we have regular meeting structures between departments, interdepartmental meetings, throughout the month, every month, to make sure that we're all on the same page.
Other than YouCanBookMe, what other kind of tools are you using? What other technology are you using to help kind of keep that stuff streamlined?
So we use a handful of different softwares. We use a software for our estimating called Paint Scout. We use HubSpot as our CRM to make sure that our customer files are accurate. And then we use a software called Airtable for all of our production management. And then a couple other things on the side. We use Asana for task management. We've got a photo app called Company Cam that we use. Obviously, the company uses QuickBooks, things like that. So we've worked tremendously and put a lot of investment in coordinating those softwares the best we can to again make sure that everything's talking to each other and that we're as streamlined as possible.
Tell me about, how do you get your customers? What's your kind of main avenues for finding people?
A lot of things with us, still the majority of our business is from repeat customers and customer referrals. Over 50% of our business still comes from the people that know us best. And that has been, just the company's focus. Sean, as I said, the owner, he drills that into us, is that the customer service is what, keeps us going. And so those people call us back, they refer us to their family and friends. And that is the core foundation of how we bring people in. But, outside of that, digital marketing, Facebook ads, search engine optimization, things like that. We'll dabble in a little bit of direct mail pieces here and there.
I love to hear it when word of mouth is a big thing, because that is just absolutely right. Like, it's the best recommendation, isn't it? If somebody says, oh, I've used them and they're great. Has social media become a thing recently? Like, are you engaging in that at all? Has that changed since you've been there for 9 years?
It's very important. We use it a lot to just paint a picture of the brand, and the culture we have here, and that personal touch to things. So it is definitely helped, drive people to understand, our story and learn more about the company, on a day-to-day basis.
And you're lucky because it's a very visual product. It's a very visual result that you have. So it works on those kind of pictures and things like that, doesn't it?
Absolutely. Yeah. Before and afters are really great for painting to just show that visual that visual impact.
And so in terms of your business, would you say that's kind of your differentiator? Because there must be loads of people, one person, small teams who can come and be competing for that business in terms of coming to decorate a house or whatever it might be. So how would you kind of say, elevator pitch, how you differentiate?
There's a lot of competition in painting. It's a low barrier of entry industry. People work with us because of our people and our processes and the finished product. We put care and effort into making sure we do things right, so that they not only have a good looking paint job, but a long lasting paint job. Our systems is just great communication, making sure that we stay organized. Through YouCanBookMe, where we're very, detailed on appointment setting and reminders and follow-ups. And so we set the tempo out the gate with people through the communication aspect. And then people, we're very selective in who we hire.
You mentioned YouCanBookMe there. So let's talk a little bit there. First of all, you've been with us for almost exactly to the day, 3 years, which is wonderful. Yeah. Thank you. And you've taken more than 7,500 bookings. Did you know that?
I did not. That's awesome to hear.
So, but you use it for a lot of things. You've got your kind of team page, you've got a customer facing page, you've got recruiting, it looks like. So what made you think we need online scheduling? How did you get to YouCanBookMe? And then did you know all the different use cases, or have you evolved as you've been using it?
So, it's back to, again, our company focus on always finding ways to improve and to streamline productivity, make sure that we're being as, efficient and as effective as possible. So we had just found that we were doing a lot of, manual data entry over and over and over, and wanted to find ways to cut down on that. And so we came across YouCanBookMe and realized that we could use that, enter everything into a singular sheet, and then let it then talk to other softwares and save a tremendous amount of time. Right. So that was initially the first use case. But then as we were able to start attaching it to, other softwares and getting, our online lead forms to then create appointments for us through YouCanBookMe, it just has evolved over time to make us even more efficient.
So do you attach it to, does it go into HubSpot? Like how are you linking those up? Are you using the integrations or using Zapier? What are you doing?
We do a lot of automations through Zapier.
So each person's got their own calendar, own booking page that they can add to an email or just give. But then there's also one that lists all of the people. So is that bookings done internally? Do you book on behalf of customers sometimes?
Yeah. So the one with multiple people, that serves as kind of our round robin booking. So when someone books an appointment online, they have access essentially, because they don't know who our estimators are. A lot of times, if they do, they'll typically call that estimator directly. But they can book an appointment on our website, and it just shows who's the next available, so that estimator A doesn't get 12 appointments and then estimators B, C, and D get 0. It's that calendar helps serve as kind of that round robin purpose. And then the individual ones, that's for when someone calls into our front office, and that they can then tailor that to either a person that was requested or who's got the best availability for the client's needs. And if there's the biggest takeaway from the improvement in our business through using YouCanBookMe was minimizing the amount of no-shows. So now that we're reminding people a handful of times prior to that appointment, because there's nothing worse as an estimator, 8 o'clock in the morning, you show up and knock on the door and no one's home.
If you were to meet somebody who wanted to start a business like yours today, what advice would you give them?
I would say that they need to be willing to do the work that a lot of people aren't willing to do. That they're willing to put in the hard work, right? Systems and automation are extremely important, but if you're trying to use them as shortcuts, that you're doing an email marketing campaign instead of picking up the phone and making calls, things like that. Can you run those in conjunction? Sure, but do the work that no one else wants to do.
Would you rather throw out your phone or your laptop?
My laptop.
Why is that?
Because my phone can still get most of the stuff done.
You're not avoiding work there. You're just downsizing.
Yeah.
Would you rather speak at a huge conference or make a new sale?
Speak at a large conference.
Interesting. Do you go to conferences a lot?
No, not a ton, but trying to start to expand our reach and things like that. But it's not on the top priority list, but hopefully it'll grow over time.
And final question, would you rather work with a team of experts or passionate learners?
Selfishly, I want to work with a team of experts for my own personal benefit. But if we have a team of passionate learners, I would take that. Is that from our company side, is if I could have a stable full of people who are passionate learners and eager to, improve themselves, I can work with that all day. You can't teach that, right? You can't teach being a passionate learner. So either you got it or you don't, to a lot of degree. And so if I have a group of people like that, I love that opportunity.
Listen, Josh, thank you so much. This has been an absolute pleasure. I'm so delighted that YouCanBookMe works so well for you.